people want to ask, what are we doing wrong?
Okay.
Well, I don't think we're doing anything wrong here. We just have to be a little bit more patient. And I know patience is not a virtue right now, but...
It's not, right? People want instant results because they've been waiting for a long time. Just like you said, we're seeing what's happening in South Africa. They're trying to de-emphasize from the coal-powered plants and going to other sources of electricity. But, of course, we can see what Eskom is going through right now. Now, let's talk about the regulatory authority itself, NERC. How would you assess their own regulatory functions to ensure stakeholders, that I'm talking about the GENCOs and the major ones, comply with provisions of the mandate given them to serve the power sector of the people?
Well, NERC has been stellar in their performance, really stellar, absolutely stellar. I mean, I can repeat it again. So think of this, 2017, around September, they came up with a draft regulation for MAPs.
Yeah.
Today, May 6th, onwards, I think from May 1st or May 6th onwards, the MAP program is live. The permits have been given, the processes have been completed, the discos were called up to submit bids, and everything was done.
Okay.
And this included from the time they issued a draft regulation, made it into a regulation, followed through with the implementation of the regulation, and then today. So in less than 2 years, they have done a stellar job.
Given the difficult terrain there.
Yes, and you had an election in between.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that. And with that, they were able to finish something which would normally take 4 to 5 years. So NERC has done a stellar job, absolutely stellar job.
So, in terms of them, you've praised their efforts so far, but do you see any challenges they're currently going through in terms of...
The standard challenges of the distribution company's performance will always be there.
What about compliance on their part?
Okay. When privatization was done, the distribution companies were mandated to perform at a certain level.
Okay.
Within a certain amount of time. They were supposed to increase the performance and bring down the losses and all, which hasn't happened.
Okay, so if it hasn't happened, what about the sanctions? Why aren't they coming?
Well, you see, it's not easy to sanction a distribution company. Please understand, a distribution company supplies power to 1 million people.
Okay.
I would say 1 million connections, at least. And each connection is 5 members in a household. So like 5 to 10 million people.
Yeah.
So you really can't shut off, plug off a distribution company. There are a lot of things that you have to consider here. There are penalties, there are fines that are imposed.
Yeah.
The distribution companies the management are pulled up and they're asked questions.
Yeah.
It's not that nobody questions them. They are questioned, they are taken to task. It's just that we don't see it. But I'm sure NERC is doing a fine job there too.
Indeed, Daniel, so you say. Now, why should government subsidize the power sector through bailouts to distribution companies when they cannot live up to their contractual agreement, which is provision of expertise? They're supposed to bring in their manpower, their technological know-how, as it were. Why should government be bailing them out, giving them money at their own shortcomings? We saw that not too long ago, and in fact, it was the regulatory authorities, putting that forward. If you know you don't have what it takes, why come in?
Well, I would differ with you a little bit. I don't think the government is subsidizing distribution companies. They don't receive free money. However, they do receive soft loans, or sometimes they do receive what I would say extended periods of time for bringing their performance to the required levels. Okay. So they do get an extended period of time,
and that there are templates to measure their performance.
Of course, of course. So, and then you can't always just go back, because yes, someone has defaulted, and these are large institutions. A distribution company is a large institution to manage, and you really can't go back in time. What you can do is you can give them a certain period of time. Okay. With strictures that govern how they spend their time. They might get soft loans. I'm not so sure, but even if the distribution companies are getting such, but I don't think they're getting subsidies now. Okay. I think the government has stopped doing that.
All right.
So they do, if anything such like that happens, I'm sure that NERC will pull those guys out. So.
All right. On that note, Daniel Daz, it's been a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you.
It's good to have you. Hope to see you again.
Sure.
All right. You're watching the Global Business Report here on Arise News. Coming up.